All right, what's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, so we did end up gapping and crapping today. It's the same old theme. We had another big move down intraday. We had a big move up over in, overnight there. And then intraday, we ended up selling, bounced off of the golden pocket from yesterday's low to today's high, and that was actually also right there off the 4-hour 21 EMA, as well as this ugly double bottom neckline, which is right over here at 566.53. So we bounced pretty much perfectly off that, and then yeah, we had a pretty aggressive bounce going on into the close there, and we closed out with this nice lower wick there. Now I'm just gonna say, guys, the fact that we got this close to previous all-time highs there, the market is telling us it wants to be going up. It does. And at the same time, VIX also did get underneath 1628 today. So yeah, I mean, I know the market is still doing this, this little bear and bull trap thing. It doesn't want to trend yet. It's still making up its mind. It's consolidating, guys. Don't get frustrated during this. All right, the cleaner moves are going to come once this thing does end up, breaking up from this. Because let's look at it this way: if it does break up over 639.85 here, current all-time high here on SPY. If that happens, then this was all she wrote for our pullback. All right, now we still can fall. It's not like it's completely off the table. It's just like we know it's going to be bought over here, and at this point, I'm going to show you guys why I do think we're in the short time we're going to be continuing higher here. I just think that is how the major components of the S&P 500 NASDAQ here, they are suggesting we're probably going to be going up. And at the same time, VIX, guys, we're watching 1628. You did start giving that up today, and I do think it's the beginning of the end over here for Mr. VIX. I think we are probably going to start a full-on VIX crush. Okay, so we're going to be on the lookout for that. But 4-hour over here looking pretty heavy. And yeah, let's go over the levels over here, SPY and QQQ. Now, QQ is looking a bit better than SPY here, but it's not looking terrible. You did not violate yesterday's low today. You found buyers right above there. You did have the 15-minute triple bullish diverge going on down there on the RSI. You got a little bounce into the close there. I imagine we're about to get an overnight bounce here. We had the 15-minute cloud flipping back to green there. And I do just want to say, QQ's, it's looking quite a bit better there on the 4-hour and daily time frame. But SPY doesn't look all that bad. And it's the same concept there, guys. We got so close up to all-time highs here. We actually did take out the 0.786 on both SPY and QQQ today. We got so close there that, yeah, I don't really care what it does in the short term. We are very likely going to, we got a date with all-time highs here, 639.85. Okay, so on the upside, we have 633.44, 635.54, 636.98, 639.85. On the downside, we have 631.54, 629.47, 628.13, guys. We don't want to be losing that. That's the daily 21. Underneath there, 625.58. Now, coming over here to QQQ on the upside, look at our little drawing. Look at that, a little ugly double bottom action. On the upside, we have 572.11, 573.32, 574.63, and then we're targeting 580. On the downside, we have 569.04, 567.76, 566.53. Key spot we bounced off of today, 564.75, 563.07, 560.63. That is the spot over here. Like I said, QQ is looking a bit better over here for the bulls than SPY. All right, you got to do quite a bit of damage here from the bears in order for this, to start looking bad again. But, until that happens, looking good, looking like it wants to be coming up. Now, we did get a ton of IWM puts coming in today, so I will just point that out. The September puts are pretty active there. Today, we had 6 million come into those throughout today. So that was also something I thought I'd throw in there. So there's that. Now, let's just take a look at the Mag 7 stocks, guys. Google above 198.16. We're talking 202.88, 28.70. I do think this is probably going to be getting a move to the upside. That is Google. It's consolidating in a bullish manner here. And it looks like probably tomorrow, honestly, this can start breaking up. And I'm thinking we go to 200 to 202 all in one day. Apple, guys, Apple, I'm just going to pull this up here. we had quite a bit, guys. There's over 20 mil coming into the 245C for 11/21. So that is November 21 there. Yes, there were others, but you know, specifically the 11/21 245C called 245 calls there. You know, that's $20 million coming into them. And no, they were not closed there. Some of them were, but only about $2 million worth. The rest remain open. So, yeah, that's, you know, I think Apple is probably starting a larger move up. And we can see on the daily time frame, it finally got above the 216.23 level, gapped over there. It actually almost retested it. It pretty much, we'll call it a break and retest off the open there on that opening dip. Now, next stop, guys, 225.70, 232.92. That's Apple. NVIDIA, just like Google, it looks like it wants to go up, guys. We typically will not, you know, sweep the high like this if we're just going to come right back down. That's not usually what our tops look like. We're either going to keep grinding higher, you know, put in some consolidation and then eventually bust out, or we're just going to immediately be breaking above 183.30 and heading up to 185, 187, 190. That is NVIDIA. Tesla looking like it wants to rumble, guys. All right, over here on the weekly, guys, it's right up against the trend line here. I think it is ready to go. That is Tesla. But in order to really confirm that, break above 338, then you know for sure it's ready to start moving and grooving. That's Tesla. Meta, all right, this is the one that, you know, it only needs a 2% move back to the upside, 3% move back to the upside tomorrow to really turn that weekly candle around. Maybe it'll happen, probably not, but maybe it'll happen. Regardless, I'm bullish on this dip over here. I do think worst case scenario retest, you know, 740, 750 here, and then shoots right back up. And then, yeah, we're taking out 785, pushing to 800. That's Meta. Microsoft. You got bullish flow coming over to Microsoft. You are also right up against the daily 21, guys. And, you know, every time recently we've came close to it, you keep getting bought up. It's probably going to get bought up. Also, you're off 518.29. That was the most recent breakout level. Okay, so, yeah, not a bad spot for Microsoft. But you get the 1 hour RSI oversold. 15-minute RSI was also oversold today, right when you came down there. Okay, that's Microsoft. Oversold. Amazon, might I say, it's not looking terrible. Weekly time frame bounced off the 21 EMA and the golden pocket there from this this little move up here. And yeah, it's not looking bad, guys. Not looking bad. That's Amazon. All right, so Mag 7 stocks as a hold guide, they're not looking bad. AMD over here, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing does get up to 180 by tomorrow. We'll see what happens, but this thing looks like they might try and flip this weekly candle red to green over here. Regardless, over the coming weeks, I'm assuming 182.31 is going to break, and we're going up 187.28, 190, and then 195. And then, yeah, this thing is off the all-time highs, guys. Big move over here on AMD. All right. Now, I got some trade ideas for you guys. APP. APP. There we go. There we go. Ooh. Now, real talk, guys, this was absolutely insane today. It was some pretty crazy shit. Congrats if you made money today. The stat lives on. It lives on. 13, at least a 13% move. Now, 12 earnings in a row. Honestly, I was on their conference call last night, and that didn't sound bad at all. I'm just letting you guys know. Their earnings call there. It did not sound bad. They had good earnings. Stock market sold it. Then they bought it up during the call. And yeah, you know, and anybody, you had a chance. Weeklies, guys, you had a chance at 10 to 15 X's at the lows there. Maybe some more. Next week's expiration, you had a chance, even if you held beforehand, guys, into earnings. It did fully recover, and then boom, if you had next week's expiration, it got into the money, you were up 100 to 150% the highs there. And then even the 919 expiration, guys, we were able to pull 150, 200% there at the highs there off of these contracts. Can't freaking believe that. But yeah, congrats. Hit that for all of us there. If you nailed that one today, it was a big winner there. If you guys would like to join my Discord, I am live streaming every single day. I have trade ideas like this coming into every single week just for us, trade plans. And but yeah, I am live every single morning. If you would like, did some bangers on a weekly basis with us, you can use code APP for 50% off of your first month. Or if you want to do the lifetime, instead of 1,600, it'll be 800. But that'll be active until tomorrow. Code APP. All right. Next one is SMR, guys. We had earnings. Now we are getting close to the trade idea we talked coming into this week. Just like APP, guys, it's another earnings stat one. The last 6 earnings reports, Didn't matter where you open up. You had at least a 15% move intraday. That means you're probably going to have a chance at 5 to 10x's tomorrow on weeklies. The next week's expiration probably also going to have like a 3 to 4x opportunity there. Right off the opening price. So that is right off the opening price, 15% up. 6 out of 6 times so far. We'll see if it's 7 out of 7 tomorrow. Either way, I think it probably will. Okay, that's SMR. Uber. All right, Uber, break and retest over here. Likely going to start gunning it back up to all-time highs. Weekly chart is looking real sexy over here. Break and retest. Pulled off. Well, yeah, actually, it is a break and retest right then and there. Take that off, take that off, take all these off. All right, and you guys can see what I see. I see a bull flag. I see a, parallel descending channel right into the weekly 21 EMA, right into the break and retest off a previous all-time high. Breakout of descending channel, set descending channel there, break and retest. And yeah, guys, above 93.60. This thing's coming up to 97.72. Uber likes to make these big impulsive moves, and then it likes to consolidate for a few sessions, and then it likes to continue making these big impulsive moves, then it consolidates a little bit more. Sometimes it corrects like that. We just went from a correction into another correction on the breakout. Barely got anything there. We're probably about to get a bit more of a bigger move going here. I think we're about to get 100 plus and probably get up to 105 on this next push. That is Uber. Hood. Another that was easy right there. Okay, guys. So congrats if you made money overnight on Hood. We got 200% overnight on Hood here. And I personally like the 919 120 calls here. I think we're probably going to see 120. I think we're probably going to see 115 plus tomorrow, if I'm being honest. I think we could get over 113.44 with how the weekly chart is set up. But yeah, this does look like, whether this happens this week or next week, this is going to be 115, 120. So that is Hood. But yeah, we pointed out the bull flag setup we got going on over here. It looks like this thing wants to break up the highs. Maybe it's going to do what it does sometimes and consolidate here. If it does, it's a pullback buying opportunity for that move that happens over the next 1 to 2 weeks. That is Hood. VST, guys. VST ended up having earnings here. You had a decent gap down off of earnings. And then guess what? This thing ended up having a 10% move up intraday, 20-point move up. Dips are buying opportunities over here. This thing just ended up breaking out, and now the earnings are out of the way. The premiums are going to come back down to earth. So, yeah, we're probably going to be pointing out VST over the coming weeks. That is VST. Walmart, guys. So we gave you this coming into the week. We had a big-ass day yesterday over here on Wally, and I just want to remind everyone, guys, all-time highs is incoming. And I think it's going to be happening before earnings. I think we're looking at 105.30 first, but above there, guys, 110 is possible before earnings. Regardless, I think we are in this process here where, yeah, any little dip, we're talking any like 2 to 3 day dip you see, expect that like on the third session there, it's probably going to start getting bought up. It maybe it takes a whole week, but yeah, dips are going to be buying opportunities here on Walmart. I do think we're probably going to see another at least like 5 points out of this rally here that we could pull out. So Walmart, dips are buying opportunities. Let's see if it consolidates for a few sessions and then continues going up. Let's see about it. Galaxy, GLXY, guys. Consolidating a bull flag right around the daily 21 over here. I like how the weekly chart is set up. I do think this thing is probably about to start resuming this move up. It just had earnings, so premiums are not juiced. Over 30.42, we're talking 33.17 and then 38 bucks. It's Galaxy. Rocket Lab, guys, earnings. They came out. They missed. Rocket Lab has not moved off of those. All right? For a very long time, Rocket Lab, if we get a dip off these earnings, within 2 to 3 sessions, we're going to anticipate that starts getting bought up. Or it's going to have a squeezer tomorrow. I'm not sure which is going to be, but we usually have movement around these earnings, whether it creates a dip buy opportunity where it completely reverses back up the highs and then you break out within a fefew sessions. That happens a lot. Or whether you have a big move up, you go a little further up and then you pull back for a few sessions, it creates a dip buy opportunity. There's that. This was another gap up and then it created the dip buy opportunity and then much larger move. There's normally some sort of opportunity that lies in these earnings here. Over here, you did end up bottoming that day and then you had a decent push up over the next week. You had a, almost 20% move there. So Rocket Lab set up in this bull flag like manner, getting really tight against this trend line here. We'll see if we get any action around the trend line. But yeah, if we do take out this high right here, 47.72, I assume this is going to start, squeezing up to 53.44, and then we're talking 55 to 60 bucks. ANF. All right, guys. ANF did end up sweeping this 104.99 level there. Congrats if you made money on ANF buying the dips the last few weeks. Been calling it out ever since this week right over here. This is another one where, just like VST, it's a slow grinder, just like Walmart. It's a slow grinder. This thing is going to have dips, guys, every 1 to 2 weeks. Just expect these dips to come along over here in ANF. But now that this weekly cut is flipped back to bullish, you had the break and retest off the 21 EMA there. All right, this thing is probably going to be trending for the next few, weeks to months, and maybe we actually do have a shot at getting back up, above 150 and then back up to all-time highs. All-time highs is a clean double from here. I'm not saying it's going right back up there, but I will say, we have earnings right around the corner, and some of these big moves up did come off of earnings. So there is that. Okay, so that is ANF. Coming over here to cost, guys. I actually did end up taking cost off today. I am just going to tell everyone, I think we're going to have a dip by opportunity. Maybe it goes a little higher before that comes, but I do think, both of the last times the daily RSI has gotten down into oversold territory like this, and you started, bouncing back like that. And the weekly chart, it is starting to turn around. But yeah, both of these previous times you did see, whether it was that dip right there, or over here you had 1, you had 2. Over here you had 1, you had 2. All right. So at some point we're going to get a big dip by opportunity on cost, and it's going to be before these earnings right here. So yeah, that's going to present itself. I'm just letting you guys know. But anybody who ended up taking the trade idea from when I called it out for $900 a contract, you were up like 150% today at the highs. So I ended up taking those off. But I'm just letting you know, I think we're going to get that dip by opportunity at some point, and that's going to be a good one. So it's cost. All right. Now, only other one I'm going to talk about right here. Well, we got Oracle right here. I'm going to be watching this consolidation. If the market pushes up, I imagine Oracle is doing this right here, and it could consolidate into next week. We're going to be watching for the breakout. Maybe it comes tomorrow. Maybe it doesn't, but we're going to be watching into next week. APLD right here, guys. We're watching for consolidation over the next few sessions here, and then we're watching for the break above 1542. That's going to bring us up to 17, 18, 20 bucks. That's APLD. QBTS, guys, it did not bounce off earnings. I am just going to tell you guys, until this thing really starts moving, it's not going to move. All right, at this point, we're going to mark out this week's high. When it can break above this week's high, it's probably going to be going, and that is at 1917. So set your alerts for 1917. Until that gets hit, QBTS is not going. Earnings was not the catalyst to make it, to make it go over there. It's a high beta stock. If the market pulls back, this is going to pull back with it. But it still probably is going to start going. It just wasn't off of earnings. Probably still will go over the coming weeks. Keep it on the radar, but I really would just set that alert and, set it and forget it. And then, boom, when that gets hit, then you start trading it to the upside there, and you can have a good time. But it's definitely still set up there. Just, expect that it can take some time. All right, guys, that's what I have for you today. I hope you guys had a killer freaking day. Hope you made some freaking money. Serious APP, that was a banger right there. I can't freaking believe what happened over here. If you guys come over this chart, I am amazed. I'm listening to that call. I'm like, it don't make sense to sell that thing. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing crazy bad. I think their quarterly revenue went down 15% quarter over quarter. That was like the only bad thing there was about it. Everything else was great. And yeah, the market bought it right back up. It consolidated until the open. It opened flat, went to red. We got the chance to buy it again. And the thing freaking rocket shipped over here, all the way up to like 454 at the high, guys. And then, yeah, we got this all right up over here. I think this bad boy is going to be continuing. So I hop back in on that dip there. I think this guy is going to be continuing up to all-time highs. I'm not saying it goes straight up, but I am saying there is a possibility we started one of these impulsive move sequences here where, yeah, over the coming sessions, we can still have some big banging 5 to 10% moves day after day. So, yeah, all right, presented a dip, took advantage of the dip. I think we're about to be continuing this move up. If it does pull back, again, it's one of those stocks that can be a grinder. Pullbacks are buying opportunities. Use them to your advantage. All-time highs is incoming. 525. Over the coming weeks, some maybe coming 1 to 2 months, but I'm honestly thinking maybe in coming weeks, this thing wants to push back up. This thing just had a big weekly breakout over right here at 428.99. Okay. And we're also past that next spot. Well, not past it, but we did test it. 449 today. Above there, there's nothing until 487.99 and then 525.15. So APP is going to be a big one over the coming weeks, but it's a big one today. Hope everybody made money. Hood also was a big mover today, and I think that could be maybe a big mover tomorrow, but I think next week, pretty much, I'm for sure over the next 1 to 2 weeks, Hood is probably going to get above, 120, 125 over here, and that's going to be a money printer there. And then Walmart, dips are buying opportunities there. And then I think Uber, that is a good one, a good swing trade to put on. And then SMR in the immediate short term, that is for tomorrow. Okay. So the idea was not to buy before earnings. The idea was just, we're talking a small amount of money with, you're not, scared of losing there. You're going to put it on shorter term expiration. I mean, you could buy dated calls there, but this is my personal plan. This is the play that I pitched to you guys coming into the week. And 15% move, six earnings. That's a year and a half of data right there. 6 earnings. Look, it didn't matter if it was even a small gap up there. You had that, decent sized move, 15 to 20% move, 6 out of 6 times, 15 to 25% move, I believe. 6 out of 6 previous earning reports, back to back to back to back to back. So, that's the stats there. So that's one for immediate, short term there that, on weeklies, we're talking, guys, the math is a 5 to 6 point move. Let's say it opens up where it is right now, 15% move at least, that's going to be 6 points right there. So, if this thing opens down at like 41, even let's just say $40, you buy the 42C for like, 50, 70 cents. I don't know what they're going to be going for, but probably for under $1 right there. Boom, the thing moves up. It starts squeezing. It goes 5 points immediately. All of a sudden, you got a 3 to 4 bagger on your hands. That's the idea for tomorrow. I hope you guys are making fucking money in this market. I know the market's frustrating. All right. It's your job as a trader. Just don't get chopped up in the choppy market, guys. Do what you got to do in the market. Okay. And stay safe out there. I'll catch you all in the next one. Everybody have a lovely rest of your day. I'll catch you all on Twitter. Peace.